Hey guys, I'm still working on that Mustang that I started on a couple of days ago. I took a piece of poster board, laid it over the inside of the new tail lights that he's wanting to trade over to. I did a tracing of where the gasket contact area was and came up with this. And then I placed the poster board, lined up the bolt holes with the studs and the existing light fixture. Luckily the two outside ones on each end matched the old light fixture, and set it in place, and then traced around the existing sheet metal with a marker, and ended up having to trim out some of these areas right here, but where the old metal was, but I also had to come up with a couple of patches to go back in where there was holes for the old tail lights that weren't needed, in order to stiffen it up. As you can see, this one right here ended up going into the patch, as well as this one here almost did. That would have weakened this substantially if we had to make these 18 gauge metal patches and put in here, plus the two center studs to help hold the light fixture in place, went through the patches as well. So what I did was I took this pattern that I made, I set it in place and traced out what I had to cut off, but I also took a red Sharpie marker and went from the inside and traced around the existing holes onto the back of my pattern that I wouldn't need. And then from the back of it, that's what I used to fabricate my patches that I was going to put back into the old holes. So that's how those two patches came about, for right here and right here. Of course, I was able to flip the template side for side to do a mirror image of them for the passenger side as well. I've got the patches tacked in. I am going to continue to go around them until I get them welded in solid, but we wanted to do a test fit to make sure that the light fixtures did in fact slide up in there. And here's one of them, and they slide up in there pretty darn good, and they look quite a bit better than the old tail lights did. We still got to do a little bit of moving around. I think we may have to elongate the holes just a little bit to get them lined up where they're supposed to go. But overall, they're a pretty good fit. We've still got to do a little bit of work on the rewiring for the bulbs and everything. They're a little bit different configuration than what his old tail lights were. But as far as trying to get them fabricated in place, they look really good in the car. The ones that were on there, they didn't look that good at all. So, but that being all said and done, I'll take you around the car a little bit more. Now we've got it inside the garage. It's pretty chilly outside today. He worked on getting the front grille area sanded. There was still some areas where the primer stuff was starting to peel off a little bit. So he spent about 4 hours sanding down inside of these grooves. Any of you guys that have done body work or sanded wheels or anything know how much fun this is. But he basically got the entire front of the bezel around the headlights all the way down to the top edge of this bumper cover pretty well sanded. Of course, we still got to put some primer over it, and then we're going to block it again just to make sure we don't have any real bad divots or any low spots. He took the hood emblem out and started working on getting some putty work done on the fenders and a few little other areas he had. We took the cowl assembly off and got to noticing down inside of this thing, these are real similar to the earlier model Mustangs. They actually have a fresh air intake down inside of this cowl section. And once we got that cowl vent off, we noticed that there was, as per usual, a squirrel or a rat's nest down in there. And luckily it hadn't rotted anything out and started wetting its floorboards yet. But if we'd have went ahead and painted this car and not noticed that, number one, just like Darren said, you know, you start spraying paint, next thing you know, you go across this and all this air blows this dust and dirt, everything out right into your paint job. But I'm not sure how well you can see back in there. But I mean, there was tons of stuff. So we took my shop back and worked down through here, as well as some mechanics fingers, and we're able to pull all of that debris and stuff out. Now there is some rust going on in here, but luckily it's all just surface rust. And what it looked like it happened is that whatever sealer they had used, like a pourable type seam sealer or something, had separated, and water was actually collecting underneath that, causing this rust. So we're going to clean all of this off back down to bare steel as best we can, and use some rust neutralizer on it and get that stopped, and then recoat it so that he doesn't have to worry about that in the future. The other side, the driver's side, isn't quite as bad. It's got a little bit of that, but not as much as the passenger side. So we're going to try to get all that cleaned up. There was a lot more work involved with this. He thought he was closer to paint than he was, so I started pointing out a lot of stuff. We could have went ahead and sprayed it, but I wouldn't have been happy doing that because I don't think the quality of the paint job would have turned out as well as I would have wanted it to. So we're going to take a little bit more time and go over this thing a lot better. And any other flaws I find that are going to jump out, of course, with black, that's the color he's going with. Almost everything is going to show if we don't take some time now and try and correct it. Just little odds and ends usually. He's already got the body sanded pretty well, but if you notice, it's still got a little bit of a sheen to it, and we've got to get rid of all of that. It can't be any shiny at all. So we're going to have to definitely rough this up quite a bit more to make sure that the paint adheres properly. He's just going to do a single stage acrylic enamel. Around the sunroof and stuff, we're going to have to do some work too. And of course, there's Paint's mortal enemy, silicone. We're going to take the sunroof out and clean around that very well. And then probably just put a piece of paper back in place of the actual glass sunroof. It's removable. So that way we don't have to worry about any silicone or anything causing any fish eyes on the car. You can probably see a little bit better now. I've got it inside out of the direct sunlight. Like I said, he's already got the rear package tray refabricated. Done a real good job on it. He made it out of some AC plywood and covered it with the fabric and then put the speakers and everything in. He's doing a real good job on this car. The interior, like I showed you the other day, has turned out real well. He put a later model steering wheel on it and has already pulled the dash out and cleaned it up and sprayed it with like a gray paint, and that's what color his interior is going to instead of this light beige color and then kind of the caramel colored seats. He's going with gray of those well. Of course, the inside he's gotten pretty well taken apart right now since he's been doing all the work in here. He went ahead and cleaned his floorboards up really well, and he's got his carpet underlayment just about completed. So once we get everything done with the car, he can finish his door panels and put his carpet stuff back in. It should be a done deal. Overall, the car is extremely straight. There's not a whole lot of rust anywhere that I could see. Just down inside of that cowl panel and just a couple of small little areas. We did find one spot here on the trunk lip. He kept having some issues with water leaking into the truck, and we finally moved the gasket off and we traced it down to this. The rain actually travels down the rear window into this channel around the trunk, and then it's supposed to drain off here to drain out of the car, but evidently it was catching somewhere right here because underneath of this area was wet inside the trunk and was causing some water leaks. This gasket looks really good, but that was actually coming around the edge of it. So we're going to clean that all up, straighten it up just a little bit, kill that rust, and then put his gasket back on. Hopefully that's got all of his drains repaired. He's got everything pretty well done. Like I said, the body is surprisingly straight for the vehicle to be as old as it is. I mean, it's got your standard minor door dings and stuff in it, but as far as major waves or any major body work or filler, it doesn't really have any that I've seen yet. Of course, we still got to go over the car and hand sand everything again just to make sure. One area that he's still kind of undecided are these body side moldings. Those things are notorious for sticking out and coming loose. The 86 that I painted, we actually removed those, and the car looked really good without them. And I'm trying to kind of talk him into doing that, and if he decides later that he wants to put them back, he can purchase them or maybe even take these and clean them up. But they're kind of dry rotted. You got some cracks and stuff in them, so even if he did decide to put them back, they'd have to be either reconditioned or sanded really good and then resprayed. But he's still kind of on the fence on that one, so I'm not sure exactly which way he's going yet. He does have new wheels and tires to put on. This is just a 4-lug car, so he can't really go with the real nice 5-lug wheels. Plus, that wasn't in his budget at this point. He's just trying to make just a nice daily driver out of the car. And believe me, when he pulls up the gas pump, he's well ahead of a lot of us guys that have the V8s. So, one other issue he had with the sunroof. There are actually drains located down inside of this channel. When I get the sunroof moved, I'll show you a little bit more in depth. But they actually have drain tubes which come down the A-pillars, and I think there are a couple that come down the sail panels back here and out underneath the car for any water that collects in this channel all the way around so it can drain out. Once he got those cleared out, he stopped having a lot of the leak problems that he had inside, which were coming through that. He doesn't want to take the mirrors off. We are going to take the door locks out because I told him everything we can take off the car before we paint is going to make it that much nicer. He did take the trim panels off the sail panels back here. He's wanting to spray the chrome black, which I told him we really needed to remove it and acid etch it so that the paint would stick. I'm not so sure how well that's going to look with an all black car with the black metal trim instead of the chrome too. I'm just kind of concerned it may be too much black on black. I understand the look he's going for, but if you get chrome accents and paint everything black, it's going to look like a monolithic piece of obsidian or something. So, but yeah, I mean, overall the thing is extremely straight. I was surprised whenever he got over here with it how little rot and waviness was in the panels. So I'm going to turn you guys off, and I'll bring you back when I've got the thing a little bit more disassembled and when we get some more progress to show you. So take care. See you later.